everybody, a very warm welcome to all of you. Hi guys, this is me, Vani Mehra, welcoming you all to Vanicademy. We are here heading onward towards the next topic today, which is India and UAE relation. When we talk about India and UAE relationship, it's very important for us to understand that this relationship has been built over a period of time, and how has India been able to survive and revive this relationship with the kind of changing dynamics that is taking place in this region. We've talked about the region earlier in the previous classes, but now today it's time for talking about how has the dynamics changed in this region of India and UAE. Now, if we have to look at the map, if we have to look at the perspective, here you can see this is the United Arab Emirates, which is the UAE portion. And you can see how closely it is associated with the Indian Ocean region, and how much of importance does this area have with respect to the ties that it has with India for that matter. Tourism is something that we also look forward to. Not only tourism, but we also look forward to energy resources. We look forward to so many kind of bond that we have created. So India and UAE enjoy strong bond of friendship. If I have to explain ki kya hai inke beech mein, they have a strong bond of friendship. दोस्ती है भाई इनके अंदर, और बहुत अच्छी दोस्ती है. There's a strong bond of friendship which is based on, so friendship is based on a few things, right? You might share common culture, you might share common religion, common economic ties, that's how it is based. So on India and UAE, the first thing they have is age old culture, religion, and economic ties between the two nations. Age-old culture, religion, and economic ties between the two nations. Why I'm repeating the point? So that you are able to memorize also a lot of stuff whenever you are going for writing answers or whatever. The relationship flourished. Every relationship flourishes after some moment. Sometimes you make friends, sometimes you make good bonds, right? And when you're making these good ties, what you do is you can always flourish these relations. How do you flourish relationship? With the help of some meeting, some kind of association, some project, some bilateral relation, whatever. So the relationship had flourished when there was an accession of H.H. Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan A. Nahyan as the ruler of Abu Dhabi in 1966, when that took place, and then subsequently with the creation of UAE Federation in 1971. So UAE became a federation in 1971. Yahan se the relationship improved. And yes, इस time पे we were also making our ties with Bangladesh. So yes, we were making our relationship better with all, trying to make it better with the neighboring countries. So both the countries established diplomatic relations. Yes, they had established with each other diplomatic relations. The diplomatic relationship between both of them was started in 1972 with UAE embassy in India. What is diplomatic relations? Diplomatic relations are जब diplomats जो होते हैं दोनों countries के, जैसे in our case of India, when you are giving UPSC का exam, right? What do you get selected as? You get selected as IAS, you get selected as IPS, you get selected as Indian Forest Services, Indian Foreign Services. So when you are being selected as an Indian Foreign Service, you often have to go out as a diplomat. You have to build relation with the neighboring country or whatever country you're posted in to take care of the ties between the two countries. Like you work in the Indian embassy over there, and you have so many kind of duties. You also work with the Ministry of External Affairs very closely. These are the kind of duties and responsibilities you have at hand. So both countries made their diplomatic relations in 1972. Okay. And UAE embassy came in India at that time. UAE की जो embassy थी 1972 में इंडिया में बनी, and it opened up in 1972. and Indian embassy जो थी, इंडिया की जो embassy वो 1973 में बनी. तो UAE ने अपने क्या की embassy इंडिया में खोली 72 में, और इंडिया की embassy वहां पे खुली 1973 में. तो अब क्या हुआ कि हमारे आपस में there were better the possibility कि हम एक दूसरे के साथ relationship अच्छे कर सके, बात कर सके, हम अपने external affairs better कर सके, हम ट्रेड के बारे में, इकोनॉमिक्स के बारे में, बहुत सारी चीजों के बारे में बात कर सके, टूरिज्म के बारे में, सॉफ्ट पावर के बारे में बात कर सके. तो वी हैड बेटर रिलेशनशिप इंक्रीजिंग. तब से लेकर दोनों साइड्स ने बहुत एफर्ट्स किया. They made sincere efforts to improve relation in different fields. It's not that one has to always put an effort. It is both have to put an effort. Anything, anywhere you go. When you talk about two countries, when you talk about two people, when you talk about two societies, when you talk about two cultures, when you talk about two different groups in the society, one cannot put the effort all the time. You have to have somebody else also, this opposite party also to put in the effort, and that's exactly what was happening here. Both of them were putting the effort. So let us understand what happened recently. What happened recently? What is the recent momentum that happened? See, the visit Prime Minister of India to UAE, which took place in 2015. So PM went there in 2015. The Prime Minister of India had visited a lot of countries, and one of the countries was also UAE. And he marked the beginning of a new comprehensive and strategic partnership. They said, now we have a comprehensive and strategic partnership. Okay. Secondly, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi and Deputy Supreme Commander of UAE Armed Forces, visited India twice. So their heads also visited India. One that happened in Feb 2016, and then as the chief guest at the Republic Day celebration in 2017. So these events actually make your relationship with another country much better. It tries to make your you can say bond much better, because when you are calling somebody for a national ceremony, just imagine that India had called them over the Republic Day celebration. You are trying to show them your power. You are trying to show them what is the kind of country that you have, the nationality that you're having, the national integration that you have. You are trying to show them such beautiful facet of your country, right? And when you are including a country in, you can say, the most important day of your country, of your nation, you are actually giving them a lot of respect. And whenever there is a lot of respect involved, the relationship can never go bad. It will always go upward. There is no coming down. So here was involvement of a lot of respect. That is why UAE is the second largest exporter also when it comes to the destinations of India over here, and they trust us. Prime Minister Modi, after this, what happened? The PM visited there in 2018, visited UAE. And this was his second visit to UAE, which has emerged as a key strategic partner of India after their talks. The two sides signed 5 agreements or 5 agreements. 5 agreements were signed related to what? Energy, railways, manpower, financial, so these were the different sectors, and other more projects were signed, but these were the 4, I would say, most important ones: the energy, the railway sector, the manpower, the financial services, and of course they'd also talked about the tourism sector, which they wanted to increase. So these were the different areas where they had tried to increase the tie. And when you talk about energy, when you talk about railway, you're talking nothing about, but you're talking about resources, energy. When you talk about railways, you're talking about connectivity. When you're talking about manpower, you're talking about in all the sense, right? And then financial, of course, economic ties are the most important tie. So this makes us understand and go down here to the economy now. Economy is the most important thing. Without economic trade, or without, you can say, any kind of such relationship where you are buying and purchasing of goods or not, you can't build better relations with the country. You have to invest. You have to invest in their country. They have to invest in your country in some means. So India and UAE bilateral relationship has evolved. Please understand the relationship has evolved, okay, in a significant partnership in the economic and commercial sphere. India UAE trade is around 2 billion US dollars, which happened in 2016 to 17, making India the largest trading partner of UAE. India became the largest trading partner of UAE, which is a good thing, which is a great thing. And UAE is the second largest export destination of India, which is crossing around $30 billion. If I talk about the year 2016-17, it was $30 billion. I'll also tell you the present figures. What about investment? So there's a lot of investment that is there in India, of which around $4.3 billion is in the form of foreign direct investment. So FDI is also something that we really get a lot from UAE when it comes to, the kind of investment that they have done with us. I will also come down to their very recent ties that they have made economically. So let me tell you that trade की अगर मैं बात करूं, the recent trade between the UAE and India has been around 59 billion US dollars, okay, making UAE and India the third largest trading partner. After China and USA, and the UAE is the second largest exporter or export destination of India, with an amount of 29 billion US dollars for 2019 to 20. For UAE, India is second largest trading partner for 2019, and the amount that is involved here is around 41.43 billion US dollars for non-oil trade, not oil, for non-oil trade. So trade mein you can see over here, for example, this is the parameter that you need to really understand. The first thing is ki trade 59 billion US dollars, right? And becoming the third largest trading partner for 2019 to 20. Then also export destination, and not only that, second largest trading partner for 2019, amounting to $41.43 billion for non-oil trade. This is also huge numbers, numbers are speaking for themselves, the kind of relationship and the kind of ties that we share with them. And not only that, there are so many products that we are exporting to them. So let me tell you what are the kind of exports that we are doing to them. So India's major exports with them is, if I have to tell you, see, first is food items. Second is machinery. Third is gems and jewelry. Fourth is textiles. Then is engineering, machinery products, chemicals, etc. But India import bhi karta hai, so India imports. What does India import from them? From UAE. India imports crude oil, petroleum products, precious metals, minerals, chemicals, wood and wood products. Okay? So India is importing crude oil, petroleum products, precious metal, minerals, chemical, wood and wood products. These are the things that India is importing from them. And also, the kind of exports that we do. So these are different dynamics that we share with them. And it's important that we talk about how much of transport do we do with the help of air. The air transport is amounting more than 8.44%. Hotel and tourism is more than 7.82%. Right now, if you talk about the kind of tourism that we see with respect to UAE, it is a lot. Trust me, so many people visit to Dubai. Dubai has become second destination for people to go anywhere abroad. I mean, it is so convenient to travel there, and it is so convenient because there are so many tourist places. The famous Dubai Mall is there, the largest aquarium is there, largest frame is there. Then at the same time, you have Burj Khalifa. So I happened to go to Dubai in 2019. It's a beautiful place. And one of the busiest international airport is also Dubai airport. So of course, it has to be taken care of and well care of, right? So these are different kind of levels that we talk about. And then we will talk about how much of cultural exchange we have done and people to people ties we have made. This is also an important conversation to do, right? So let's get down and talk about it now. Just a second. Yes. So people to people ties. People to people ties can actually make a relationship of two countries very, very well. For example, UAE is home to more than 2.8 million Indian expatriates, all those people who have moved from India and are staying over there. And at the same time, it has the largest expatriate community in the UAE. So this is very, very important. Professionally also, you will see a lot of qualified personnel. They happen to go to Dubai for different kind of job opportunities. And at the same time, they work over there, whether it be white collar jobs, or non-professionals. You will see a lot of people also going in non-professional skill-based jobs going to Dubai. So this is something that I would like to tell you. Recently, there was an article on brain drain that came in the newspapers with respect to how many people just move out of our country, and moved out of our country before the pandemic, and then how much of problem they had to suffer during the pandemic. So this concept also applies to places like UAE, where people often happen to move abroad and for skilled, both white collar and non-professional jobs. So they often happen to go there and stay there. So, of course, there are people, for example, clerical staff is required there. For example, shop assistants, salesmen, accountants. There are so many kind of people who get their jobs there. And the remainder, 65% of people that are there, they are blue collar workers. So, of course, there's a lot of dynamics that is there. So people have also offered a lot of business they are doing over there, like a lot of businesses there. And the Indian community has played a major role in the economic development of UAE. We have also put a lot of role because we have contributed to the GDP. So annual remittances made by large Indian community in UAE has amounted to more than it's more than $13 billion, imagine. So this is the kind of revenue that we are making. Contribution of Indian community in development of prosperity of UAE is huge. That is why UAE government, during discussion in a different meeting like India UAE strategic dialogue, have always commended this. India and UAE ties have always made the relationship better, and at the same time has strengthened, you can say, both the countries. I would like to also tell you now that we signed a cultural agreement with them. In 1975, and the embassies have continued to organize various cultural activities on their own, as well as by collaborating with other cultural organizations. So different cultural organizations also come forward, and they try to show to the world the kind of culture that we share, the kind of culture that we have been sharing. Okay, would you like to comment in the chat box how many flights a week are there between India and UAE? I will look forward to this answer in the chat box. You have to answer this question if you're looking at this right now. How many flights a week between UAE and India operate? Because it's the largest operation of its kind, and more than 50% of Indians, let me tell you, who travel outside India to different destinations like Europe, America, whatever, they have to use Dubai and Abu Dhabi as their transit hub. So at the same time, there's a lot of this thing is also there that they're using Dubai as a UAE as a transit hub because they have to have connecting flights. So you have to answer this question: how many flights a week are we having between India and Dubai? It's a general question. I think you can answer it easily. Next part is energy. Of course, that is so important. Energy, resource, energy as humans also, energy is very important, and as a country also, energy is very important. UAE contributes a lot of energy security to India. We have the fifth largest supplier of crude oil to India. We were in 2016-17, they were the largest crude oil supplier to India. So that also shows the relationship that we are sharing at the at this level. And not only that, you also must understand that there are so many bilateral models that we have shared with each other. UAE accounts for 8% of India's oil imports. Okay, so oil is the most important factor here. We have imported so much of oil. We import so much of oil from different countries, and this is one of the countries that we import the oil. And India is the second biggest buyer of UAE crude behind Japan. That is also very important. And Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, in a first of its kind deal, has agreed to store crude oil in India's strategic storage facilities at Bangalore. They said, okay, we will store our crude oil in Bangalore. So they have accommodated here also. Let me tell you, in the year 2018, you know what happened? There was a consortium of Indian oil companies, which was led by ONGC. Okay? ONGC ने lead किया, consortium of companies को ONGC Videsh Limited, an agreement of 10% stake in one of Abu Dhabi's offshore Lower Zakum concession. So there was this 10% stake that they had tried to give in 2018, where they talked about that oil ka jo hai, when you talk about the stake of oil, so 10% they had signed with them. This is a huge number when it comes to a foreign land, and then comes to the resource of a foreign land, and a company which is operating here in India is able to take a stake in that that resource. This is a huge thing. This is the first Indian investment in upstream oil sector of UAE, please remember. And this has actually transformed the buyer seller relationship to a long term investor relationship, because 10% stake hone ka matlab hai ki now India is just not a partner. It means India is also an investor. India is also trying to invest in the money so that the returns can be had and the returns can be shared also. So this is something which is very, very important here. I would also like to talk about the kind of strategic partnership that we share. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. Okay, now let me just understand and tell you the strategic partnership model here. A lot of agreements have signed between them. So India and UAE also had signed an agreement to upgrade the relations to comprehensive strategic partnership apart from 13 other MOUs, the Memorandum of Understandings that was signed in 2017. So first strategic dialogue, the first strategic dialogue meeting between the two foreign officers was held in New Delhi. This was the first time that there was a meeting that was held in Delhi on Jan 20th, 2017. And second meeting took place in October 2017 when they had to meet, they met in Abu Dhabi. India and UAE saw each other as important players in maintaining peace and stability. They said कि बाकी सब सही है, trade भी सही है, सब कुछ सही है, import, export, everything is good, but we can maintain peace and stability together because the kind of differences that were there in the world or the kind of problems that was there in the world, for example, terrorism, for example, radicalization, for example, terror financing, etc. तो दुबई और इंडिया ने डिसाइड किया कि हम एक काम कर सकते हैं, let's work out together, share our close contacts between their national security councils, and let's work out together in peace and stability. So it's not just that they're sharing this relationship of trade only all the time. There is a lot of other things as well. For example, they're also having a strategic partnership. They're also trying to maintain this relation. This can be so much said that August 2019 में क्या हुआ, UAE awarded the Zayed Medal, their highest civilian award, to the Prime Minister of India for consolidating the long-standing friendship and joint strategic cooperation between the two nations. Zayed Medal is something which is the highest civilian award of Dubai. So that was given to the Prime Minister here for maintaining the relationship. And not only that, let me also tell you over here that we have a lot of scope of you can say different investments that have happened over a period of time. ये तो 2017-18 की मैं आपको बात बता रही हूँ, but अगर मैं आपको improvement perspective से बोलूँ तो we have to talk about a lot of investments, ना ही सिर्फ यहाँ पे, but we need to invest in different other sectors. साथ ही साथ में we've also encouraged investment and cooperation during the COVID-19 period. ठीक है, जैसे म्यूचुअल इंटरेस्ट था with the purpose to stimulate economic activities. COVID-19 के बाद किस तरह से the world will be able to react and the world will be able to be stable. This was also something worked out by both the countries very nicely, and also to address a lot of other barriers जैसे anti dumping duties है, या ट्रेड एंड इकोनॉमिक टाइज को अच्छा करना, या एफर्ट्स को कोऑर्डिनेट करना, या म्यूचुअल कोऑपरेशन को इंक्रीज करना, या एयर ट्रांसपोर्ट को और अच्छा करना. तो हमने काफी कोशिश की है कि हम अपने रिलेशनशिप को, अपने जो पार्टनरशिप है उसको हम इंक्रीज करें ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. एंड इसके लिए एक और स्टेप उठाया गया था व्हिच आई वुड लाइक टू टेल यू इज कि 2019 में व्हाट हैपेंड, देयर वाज अ डेवलपमेंट ऑफ ऑपरेशन ऑफ UAE based funds to invest in India. किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में? इन कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ फॉरेन पोर्टफोलियो इन्वेस्टर regulations 2019 by SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India. इंडिया ने एग्री किया इसके to look into these issues with the objective of facilitating further direct investment of UAE funds. इंडिया ने कहा कि ठीक है, हम आगे भी चाहते हैं कि इन्वेस्टमेंट हो. We are just not looking for the relationship for a short period of time. We want कि इन्वेस्टमेंट्स जो बढ़े ताकि डिफरेंट बेनिफिशियरीज बने, ताकि अलग अलग सेक्टर्स बेनिफिट करें. तो कोऑपरेशन पे, पोटेंशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट पे, हेल्थ केयर पे, फार्मास्यूटिकल्स पे, इंडस्ट्री पे, मोबिलिटी लॉजिस्टिक्स के ऊपर, फूड पे, एग्रीकल्चर, एनर्जी, यूटिलिटीज, इन सब के ऊपर what did they try to do? They tried to invest, they tried to work out on all of these aspects. Okay. And over here I would like to also tell you guys that the most significant support from UAE ने इंडिया को कब हेल्प किया? After the URI attack. जब URI attack हुआ ना, तो Abu Dhabi sent out a very clear public statement suggesting India to take direct or decisive action against the perpetrators of the attack. Even on Pathankot attack, UAE supported India. इसका मतलब है कि security grounds पे they are standing as a very strong partner and does not shy away from giving a public statement on that. So they are sharing good relations with each other in all the matters that we can talk about. And at the same time, there are still a lot of areas that we need to work on. We need to work on terrorism. We need to work on infrastructure funds. We need to work on the ports, development of better ports and better transportation through waterways, etc. अब 2019 में क्या हुआ कि 46 सेशन हुआ काउंसिल ऑफ फॉरेन मिनिस्टर्स का ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऑफ इस्लामिक कोऑपरेशन OIC. ये मैंने आपको शायद फर्स्ट क्लास में बताया था इसके बारे में. इट वाज हेल्ड इन अबू धाबी वेयर इंडिया वाज इनवाइटेड एज अ गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर. तो ये भी तो अपने आप में प्राउड की बात है कि इंडिया इज बीइंग इनवाइटेड इन सच ओकेजन एज अ गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर एंड UAE होस्टेड द इवेंट एंड हैड स्ट्रांगली डिफेंडेड डिसीजन टू इनवाइट इंडिया डिस्पाइट पाकिस्तान ने बोला कि नहीं मत बुलाओ, बट उन्होंने कहा नहीं हम बुलाएंगे. अभी 2020 में क्या हुआ? जस्ट थिंक ऑफ Feb 2020. जस्ट अ सेकंड, आई जस्ट नोट दिस डाउन. In Feb 2020, what happened? In Feb 2020, UAE issued an operating license for Arab world's first nuclear power plant, paving the way for it to start production in 2020. Then, at the same time, the UAE Mars mission. See, July 2020 में क्या हुआ? UAE launched a Mars probe named, जिसका नाम रखा उन्होंने अमल या आप कह सकते हो होप. अमल, होप, ठीक है ना, फ्रॉम जापान, मार्किंग अरब वर्ल्ड फर्स्ट इंटरप्लैनेटरी मिशन. ये दुनिया का सबसे पहला इंटरप्लैनेटरी मिशन. एंड सितंबर 2020 में UAE साइन द अब्राहम अकॉर्ड. with Israel and Bahrain, which is the first Arab-Israeli peace deal in 26 years. Of course, we have issues. Of course, we have problems. Of course, we have things to settle down with different countries, but we should never forget the kind of bond and the kind of relationship that we are building with different countries on different levels. And that only stands out, two countries and they bond with each other, nothing else. Hence, this topic comes to an end, India and UAE. Since I'm discussing each country individually, it's imperative for you to note down the notes because it's all updated with current affairs. Post this video, whenever you come across any current affair, please note it down. I've asked a question also, please put it down in the chat box of how many flights operate in India and Dubai in a week. On an average, how many flights operate and what is the number? And then, of course, you can contact Vanicademy for your preparation with UPSC. We are having the most affordable and the most amazing model here, wherein we are not enforcing stuff on you, but we are trying to coordinate and cooperate and understand as an aspirant what kind of struggles are you having with respect to your preparation. It makes the process all the more easier when you have someone to understand you and someone to put themselves in your shoes and know that how this preparation stands. It's the New Year's, of course, when I'm recording this video. And just before we end this year, this is something that I really would like to wish that all of us together can educate and let others educate and spread the word of education as much as possible, because we have a right of education and it should not be taken away no matter what. So on this very positive and nice note, I would like to tell you that you can join the Telegram group of Vanicademy. The link is in the description. Along with that, for personal mentorship batches and other classes, you can contact on the given number. Thank you so much for all your love and support that you are spreading on us. Keep sharing the videos as much as possible. It's all free. It's all yours. Like the videos and take care. Thank you so much.